every time I tend to feel some type of way or my energy is down, God just shows me why I'm the one.
At any point, did you ever see yourself stepping out of that world that you had created?
If your destiny is not bound to be great, that is when you don't have haters.
A lot of people probably don't know about your experience. You had a lot of things happen in childhood, you know, with you being homeless at a point.
So I became an Osanle. An Osanle is a boy that runs from the house against his parents' will. Relationship is the most expensive currency humans can ever have.
You know what? I hear it.
I didn't even know I was going to use music to make money, to be honest. I was just singing because I had to go to choir practice. I barely navigate through them. I used to cry. I would cry. There's no masculine thing in this shit. Like, I finished performing and I look back. Osha looked at me like a proud dad. This guy was Okeowo. It's quite personal to me because I barely say stuff like this on, camera.
Hello guys, before we get into the episode today, I need to let you know that we are on a mission and I need your help to bring this mission to life. We are trying to grow the platform so much more. I know that so many people who watch the interviews, who consume these incredible conversations that we have on here aren't actually subscribers, and I'm wondering why. I need you to subscribe if you want to see bigger, better conversation, more impactful conversations that will change lives and so much more. I need you to subscribe, so make sure you subscribe, turn on your post notification and support us on this journey. Enjoy the episode. Okay, I have the amazing Oxlade in the building, right? And I'm so excited for this conversation. I say this all the time with everyone I speak to. I'm like, I'm so excited for this conversation, but this one has layers because we spoke a little bit off camera where I was saying to you, I was like, we have to admit this, I am one of the OG fans. Like I am an I don't know if there's like a little nickname or like there's a little anything.
So Oxlade.
Oxlady.
Yeah.
I'm an Oxlady. Yes, she's an Oxlady. And this is the reason. So if we take it back to 2020, right in the midst of like, lockdown, that was like the first time I discovered you. And I was blasting this man up and down as like you'll actually think I was the artist. Like you'll think we have some sort of connection because I was so immersed in the music because it just sounded so fresh, so different and just unlike anything I'd like heard before.
Thank you very much.
I can't lie to you, like it definitely carried me through lockdown. Do you remember those stages?
Yeah. You've been tapped in from the jump.
I've been tapped in. You heard the man speak. I don't think they heard you. Say it again.
You've been tapped in from the jump.
And that's on period. And then I also told him that I had a bone to pick with him, but I'll leave that one because
that
just means that one you're gonna resolve it. You're gonna resolve it.
Gang
cool.
shit,
All right,
yeah.
cool. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think obviously, you've been doing incredible things over the last couple of years. This year especially, I think it's been such a massive year for you with Closer. And I think it's weird because I look at you and I'm like, he seems so interesting. I've taken in so many of your interviews and I'm like, I want to know Oxlade as a person in it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're stripping, although he refuses to take off the sunglasses, it's fine, I hear it. We are going to get to know Oxlade properly, right? When thinking about, the journey of getting into just the journey of life, I think with hindsight, you tend to have certain moments in the journey where you're able to look back on and be like, this was the moment where I recognized that, this is what defined me. This is what made me like who I am. With that in mind, is there a moment for you in your career that kind of was like that moment?
I have that moment like every 6 months. And I'm not even lying. Every time I tend to feel some type of way or my energy is down, God just shows me why I'm the one. Yeah.
But when we're talking like earlier stages, so like really, really early, if you even think back, like, some people might have stories of like, oh, they decided to go on stage at the age of 5 or they decided to go on stage at the age of 10. Was there like a moment for you earlier on, it doesn't have to be that young, but like earlier on in your career or earlier on in your life journey where you were like, okay, this is definitely the moment where I recognize, oh, I am Oxlade. Oh, this is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
The bare moments. When I was like 13, I had a song with Two-Face.
At 13?
Yeah, he featured. So I was with this NGO.
Yeah.
And he was trying to give back to the community, and he put a bunch of children, and I was one of those kids.
How was that experience?
That was crazy. Yeah.
How did you even get that?
I was in an NGO, non-governmental organization called Change Your Life.
Yeah.
And he had some connection with the owner, and he wanted to give back to the community, so he just put the children in the NGO on the song, so he featured us.
So then when you did that, and then in that moment you were just like, yeah, this is...
It was a flex in secondary school, what you mean? It was a big flex, but there are other moments like when Drake posted me or when Wizkid brought me out in Accra, Paris, 21,000 people, or when Usher brought me out in Global Citizens, or when God saved my life. The bare moments, man. Yeah.
I want to talk about, like you said, there's like loads of moments. And I really want to like break down each moment because I think that they all have their importance and they all play a role, right? But I kind of want to strip it down a little bit, just talking about music. I had a conversation with a friend years ago, and I think it was one of those conversations I was like quite life altering in a way, because he had challenged me and asked me, okay, but you're saying that you want to be like this interviewer, this journalist, but if I asked you who is like the top this, or just anything about like that particular space and like that industry that I was trying to enter back then, this was like quite a while ago, I didn't really have the answer. And like with that question, I was quite triggering, because I was like, oh wow, like I really should be knowledgeable in this space. I know that that's something that you really care about, really being really well versed in like the space that you're entering. So talk to me about why for you it's like important to be really knowledgeable in like the music space and the industry that you want to enter.
Firstly, you have to know who you are before the world can really recognize you. And I think it's very important to know every bit, the details of your profession or your career, your personality, so you can actually explain to people if they ask you questions like this. Yeah.
So what is your explanation then? If I said, okay, so you're saying that, so who is Oxlade?
Potentially one of the biggest Afrobeats exports.
Oh.
Yeah.
But is that what really defines Oxlade? Because I think obviously your career achievements is like one thing, but then there's like things about yourself as a human that's like defines Oxlade. For you to even get to the level that that you're at right now, what would your description be for that?
Oxlade is pure soul. He barely speaks, and when words fail him, all he does is sing. I'm passionate about my music, my art, my family, my grandma.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about life, and what else? He's a cool boy.
Cool boy.
Yeah.
When you say he barely speaks, where does that like come from? Obviously, I know that you do express yourself more so like in your music. So when you say the statement of like barely speak, why is there like a reason for that?
I'm very sensitive and I'm very spiritual. So like before I can even say something, I have to really plan it in my head. So I just found a mechanism, which is music, to express myself. That's why I think, or that's why it's quite connecting to the fans, or that's why it's quite relatable to the fans, the kind of music I make. Like you said, I think my music is ethereal, which is spiritual, and it connects to everybody's soul if you allow it.
How important is spirituality for you?
Spirituality is everything. Spirituality, I rate spirituality even more than the physical.
Yeah.
I think behind every physical, there's a solid spiritual, thing going on.
Do you know what? I think people talk about spirituality all the time, and I think sometimes it can be like a blanket statement where they're like, yeah, I'm spiritual. I think for someone like yourself who is like, you're at the top of your game right now. So many people watching you. I think it'll be really good to get maybe like, because I'm also spiritual. Like I don't play about my spirituality. It's part of the decisions that I make, the life that I lead. Like it's just me in all essence. But I would love to know, like from your lens, like what does like Oxlade practicing spirituality actually look like, and how did you even get to that space where you're able to recognize that spirituality is like something that matters to you?
So I say spirituality doesn't necessarily mean Christianity or gospel or any religion. It's my energy, my aura, how I feel. Before I make decisions, I have to, speak to my inner self, and I make die-minute changes, which gets my team angry, which is quite understandable. But it's just because of my spirituality. Like I make decisions. For example, if we had planned to probably go out, something could just change, and I just tell my homies I don't want to go out anymore, and that's how deep I am with my spirituality. You just feel something. Yeah, and there was this time where we was at a concert, and I was actually meant to perform up next, and I just told my manager, it was a big concert, and I just told my manager, I don't think I want to climb that stage. And he was mad, but he listened to me, and immediately we left. Someone was killed in that same spot. No way. Yeah, so they know how to respect my decisions because it means a lot.
So you're saying that in essence, like you feel things really deeply, and when you feel that, you don't make any other decisions outside of that.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I've also always been someone who like feels things, right? But I think maybe the difference here is that I don't act on them. I'll just be like, oh, I feel this, and just like, oh, I've got to get things done regardless. And ultimately, it's always, I recognize in the end that, oh, I probably should have listened to that. And I think that kind of thing comes with practice, which is something that I'm actively practicing now. Is that, because I know that's not something that people naturally walk into. Is that something that you had to choose to practice, to listen to that inner voice, that message that says, don't do this, don't do that?
I didn't have to practice it because that's who I am from little. That's who I've been. Mm-hmm. So as down as when I was in my teens era, all my boys know that, when I make a decision in my mind, nothing can change it. So, it's been what has led me to this point, I believe, and I think, so why change?
I love that. Okay. I want to break down, because you spoke about your childhood just then, right? Okay. And by the way, I'm loving this. So when we think about, childhood, I always think that our reality is usually formed then. I think maybe the reason as to why you were so confident and, sure about, your spiritual walk is that probably stems from, some of the things that you've experienced. A lot of people probably don't know about your experience. You've had a lot of things happen in your childhood, with you being homeless at a point, your mum passed, which I'm so sorry to hear about. I want to kind of, dive into those various things in the most in the most realist way, to be fair. So walk me through, because I think that the first thing was your mum's passing, wasn't it? Walk me through that, because that's not something that is easy to deal with, and I can imagine it must have evolved you a lot as a person.
So, story of my life, guys. Huh? My name is Oxlade. Ikuforiji Abdurrahman Olaito, a Lagosian, Nigerian, African. Surulere to the world, outside representing. I lost my mom when I was 3, and I moved to my grandma's. I lost her to childbirth of my younger brother, who is very much alive. Shouts to God. And ever since then, my grandma is a spirit coco. Not even my grandma. My family is so, Christian-esque. And everybody always goes to the church from morning devotions. If you don't know how to sing in my family, you're not part of the family. We don't even need to do blood tests. So basically, ever since my childhood, ever since I was little, I've been in the choir, from children's choir to teens choir to adults choir. So I didn't even know I was going to use music to make money, to be honest. I was just singing because I had to go to choir practice, because my grandma wants me to go to choir practice. And so along the line, I had to stop singing in secondary school because it felt like a feminine thing to do, so I had to learn how to rap. So at some point in my life, I was a rapper. And that's why I connect well with rappers, and that's why I give the best hooks to rappers. That's one by the side. But
Were you good at rapping?
I think I was. And so due to that, that's what built my artistry, my music, lyrically, cadence-wise, melodically from the church. And then, I was just doing the music thing by the side. And then when I got into the university, I moved to my pops. And I had to stop music because he's a very, direct guy, education first, don't do anything. So my final year, I had one of the darkest phases in my life, and I had to drop out. And me dropping out, my family did not want to hear anything. They wanted me to go back into the uni. I dropped out my finals, and they wanted me to go and write JAMB again, which makes no sense for me. So I became at Osanle. And Osanle is a boy that runs from the house against his parents' will. I moved to the streets. I moved into, I was squatting with 2 of my boys. So I'll spend 3 days here. I spent 3 days there to avoid sea finish. So it was me balancing life, and then I started hustling. The hustle, I became a bus conductor. I used to sell BRT tickets at Barracks, Ojolegba, and I used to sell tickets at cyber cafes. So I used to sell vouchers. So I'll do selling tickets in the morning, and I'll go to the cafe at night to sell more tickets just to eat. At that point, it was I wasn't even thinking about music, I was just trying to survive. And luckily for me, I found myself around, the first friend was a producer, and the other friend was a video director. So it was I already equipped myself for what was about to happen to me in my life. And then I used to be in this a cappella group called Pella Squad in my church, and we were trying to actually make a demo track. So we went to this guy called Afro Genie. And then Afro Genie, after the whole recording, I would always stay behind and and tap the guy, bros now. As I be singing now, bro, just give me 16 bars. Yeah. And I was just like, no, voila. And then one day, you know, I was behind the scenes, I was always behind the scenes, keeping quiet, forming melodies in my mind, in my head, and learning, most importantly. Thank you very much. And then, you know, he gave me the shot. And the name of the song is called Sour. He put Black Bones on it. And that's how Black Bones found me. And he hit me up like, bro, who are you? Like, you're not meant to exist. Why do you not sing this good? Da 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 da. And then we made a song called Mami Water. I wasn't on Twitter at that point. I was using a C3 Nokia, so it wasn't even a smartphone. So like, the moment Black Bones dropped the track, I was trending on Twitter, and he just hit me up like, yo, bro, you're #1 trending on Twitter. That's Black. I'm like, what's that? Is it a business app? I'm trying to make money, bro. And it's like, come on. And then I just took my boy's phone and I installed Twitter because I was using a small phone.
But at that point, was it very much like Oxlade still?
I wasn't Jack.
Okay.
I was just some random boy trying to make a living, trying to eat. And then, you know, I joined Twitter. I saw everything going crazy. And then, you know, I met Bizzle. And, you know, we started this music thing. And shouts to him, though, because he put me onto a lot of people that I work with right now. Like, he's literally the plug. And then, you know, the rest is history.
So let's because you just gave us a lot there, and I want to strip it down and break it all up.
You asked for it.
And I love it.
Giving them
I'm
back
proud
to
of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, so let's strip it back. As someone who, you know, was on the street selling tickets, and you were trying to balance these two worlds, and you know, you were homeless and like balance going from one person's house to another person's house. That can feel quite overwhelming, and almost as if this is what the reality of your life is going to look like forever. Did you ever? What made you? At any point did you ever see yourself stepping out of that world that you had created? Nope.
At that point, me and my boys would just sit there outside with boxes and looking at the sky, asking God, what's gonna really happen to our lives?
God, when?
Yeah, it was crazy. You know, it's quite personal to me because I barely say stuff like this on, you know, camera.
Listen, you on the Wunmi Bello Show. This is what we do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but actually, you know, me looking back now at those moments, it just makes more sense. Yeah. You know, I think God was trying to mold me and build me and make me feel, you know, the value of success from the streets. And then, you know, he took me bits by bits and he still taking me to the next level.
And I love that you said bit by bit by bit, because I guess, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, what bit by bit does is it builds character, and it builds a very strong character. Would you say there's truth in that for you?
Yeah, it built my confidence, because like, I broke into the game indie. Nobody. Who's Oxlade? Nobody. No major cosign, no big label. It was just me and my boys trying to grind it in. So, you know, every success meant, every big step meant something big to me. Yeah. For example, the song with Black Bones, and then I did a song with Melvito, Wait For You, and then from there I started doing bare features, and then I dropped Sugar, and then I dropped Oxygen, the EP. So every song I dropped actually added value to my life and added confidence to my mind frame.
That's mad, because your journey is literally, it wasn't a matter of like someone coming in and like, you know, saving you and taking you from there. It was like everything was like slowly, you know, gradually happening, right? And I think you maybe have like a different lens when it comes to looking at being, like when it comes to talking about being grateful and gratitude, right? So when you look at all those little moments, when was the moment that it clicked in your mind that wait, music might be my destiny, music might actually be the thing for me?
So I had a song with Fireboy, and it's titled Sing. We intentionally licked that song because he just got signed to YBNO, and we were so sure they had big plans for him, and it wasn't gonna make sense to just table the song to them because we was expecting a no. So he posted a video of his verse, I posted a video of my verse, and the next thing I saw was Davido in my comment section saying, I've listened to the song 1,000 times. And then on Twitter, where's Oxlade been on my life? Same Davido.
No.
Yeah, and I was sleeping. Yeah. I was actually sleeping and my boy just woke me up, bro. Davido don't sleep.
There's serious things happening right now, come on.
And then, you know, I felt so good. Yeah. I went to his house, and then he took me out that night, bought me full, bought me a full attire. He not even bought me, he just picked clothes from his wardrobe and gave it to me. And then we went out. I met Burna Boy that same night. I met bad people that same night. And at that point, I was just looking at my life like, it has actually started. You know, the second guessing was still there without a doubt, but the progress was very impactful in building my character and my confidence. And then from then, it was up.
Describe to me what these moments of favors from the likes of Burna Boy, meeting Burna Boy and Davido giving you this and, you know, shouting you on Twitter, how did that actually build your self-belief?
It's not just my self-belief, it just made a statement to the whole world that, yo, I think you guys should let this boy breathe and do this music thing.
You know what, I hear it. I hear it.
It was like, you know, it was that receipt my family needed to see. Because almost everybody was against it. You know, at some point my grandma didn't even want me to do secular music because she's so gospel.
Yeah. I was going to ask, when you say everybody wasn't receiving it, like family-wise, who is everybody and who isn't everybody? Because I know you have like...
They're my family, I'm not trying to expose them.
No, not even in that way. Only because I know like you have such a deep love for your grandma, Grace. And I wonder if, was it her that was...
You call her name now?
Yes.
Wow.
Listen, I want to know, because I find genuinely, like, I find you so interesting, like proper, and I'm like, there's a reason why.
Wait, how do you know her name?
I told you, I did my research.
What?
Don't worry about me. Just let's be keeping the conversation going. But do you know what it is? Because I find you that there's something about you that is so sure about, you know, where it is that you're headed, and that aside, like just your music in general, it is. Everything.
Thank you.
So when you talk about, you know, there were certain people in your family, I wonder if your grandma was the woman who anchored you, and that's where the love for her, because you have this quite a deep love for her.
Yeah. So the thing was, she didn't want it at first. Excuse me. She didn't want it at first, and then at some point, you know, when your parents are just fed up, and she's like, Sham Aurora. I'm not saying she not do music, but my back there on when it to J.
Say that again. Because that's a massive statement.
Yeah,
I'll
she said, Sham Aurora.
Okay, let me translate that. Keep it cool, calm down, don't forget whose child that you are, right?
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Tapped in.
Okay.
So like, you know, that was the point. I just said, thank God, at least she's even letting me do this. And at that point, it was them just letting me experiment the music thing, and maybe later at some point in my life, I realized that, it was just a fantasy, and I'll come back to them to apologize. And I said, Amy, Olaiton. I am going to show these people what's up.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that Davido moment was the what's up. Yeah.
Let's talk about self-belief, because one thing you exude, especially if even, I don't know how long it's been that we've been talking, one thing you exude so deeply is this like richness in, you know, how you feel about yourself and how confident you are in yourself. Sometimes when I'm someone who, like, I talk about self-care a lot, I'm like, I have my morning routine, I have to meditate, I have to pray. Like, I just, before I go and tap into the world and, you know, what the world has to offer, I have to tap into me first. So, and those are the things that help me build my self-belief. What are the things that helped Oxlade build his self-belief to the level that it's at right now? Every
iconic moment in my life added more steez to my confidence. Yeah, every milestone, like I said, the Davido moment. 2018, Wiz brought me out the O2. I had more or nothing. I had 0 hits. I don't know how I entered London safe, but we shall roughed it. And then what actually happened was, I shouts to DJ Tunes though. I had a song with DJ Tunes, speaking of strategic collaborations, Causing Trouble, and the song was doing bits. So like, you know, Tunes just said, how about you come to London to do Blackout, because Tunes has a regular show called Blackout. Shouts to him. The show's 10 years old now, so yeah, he's been doing great. And then after the show, I went backstage. For some reason, I don't know what made me enter the backstage, like Wiz's actual backstage room. And his bouncer actually opened the door. So maybe he had already told his bouncer that whenever Oxlade is coming down from the stage, just let him in. I just found myself in his room. I just knelt down. put my head on the couch praying, and Random was, singing Cousin Trouble, word for word to me. I didn't even know who it was because I was praying, and then when I lifted my head, it was my child. And then after that conversation, he just texted me, I'd like you to pull up on my show. And I was like, bro, your ticket is expensive. And I have bad boys. I don't think I have the money. So what do you mean? Come and perform in my show. Come and perform in my show. You're telling me you need tickets. And then the next day, he personally sends me the artwork. And, after I posted it, everywhere went boom, crazy. Oxlade is performing at the O2. And it was a very great experience for me, because it was me entertaining, not even performing, because few people even knew my song. So it was a big opportunity for me to showcase myself as an artist. And, I cherished that moment with all my life. And then, fast forward to 22, he did the same thing with Paris, Accor. And, it's every moment, like every single moment where Oxlade trend for Twitter, literally, had massive impact on my life.
Why specifically Twitter?
Because Twitter is the most toxic app to ever exist.
It is. It's the most, no, bro. It's the most toxic. Right now, they're abusing me.
Oh.
It's very toxic.
I mean, you need to you need to get used to it.
So the abuse.
Yeah.
I'm a sensitive babe, like you said.
I'm not sensitive, but let me tell you something.
I'm sensitive. Me too. Same.
Let me tell you something. If your destiny is not bound to be great, that is when you don't have haters. Trust me. It's part of the game. People hated Jesus Christ, and He's the Savior of our soul. How can you hate Jesus? Exactly. That's the point.
Okay, Oxlade. Okay, Pastor Oxlade, I love that.
No, but that's the best.
No, it is. It's factual.
That's the best
It is
example for you. If people could hate Jesus Christ, same man them that was healing people was crucified.
When did you tap into your relationship with Jesus, with God? When did that start for you?
I'm a church boy. It was a culture for me to be tapped into.
But there's a culture where, same here, when I was younger, I was forced to go to mosque, I was forced to go to church. But there was definitely a moment where I said, oh, this is for me, this is what I believe. So when was that for you?
I love my grandma so much that if she told me this white cloth is black, I would call it black.
Yeah.
So, me watching her show me massive affection and love just made me believe whatever she believed.
I love that.
Yeah.
What is it about your grandma?
She's my bestie. That's my baby.
Because I really value relationships a lot, and I talk about the relationships are literally the gates to happiness. When I look at your journey as well, some of the people who are still on your team now are some of the people that you were staying with.
All of the people on my team now, exactly. All the people I stayed with.
So you value relationships.
Yeah.
So I think it will be good to get a debrief why relationships are so fundamental to you. I think just to even make it clear, your manager is one of the people that you were staying with when you were going through, the being homeless, which is not a joke. It's not a light matter. It's serious.
So you have to reciprocate the love given to you. These two families took me in and, literally gave me shelter. So why turn my back against them when I see the big bag? Why not make money with everybody? Feel me? So I feel like relationship is a positive feel. It's a positive, how do I put it? It's a positive tool that heals the soul. You're going to shock everybody who watches this interview. And not that I'm shocked myself, because I knew it. There was a reason why I was invested. From 2020, I knew it. It was making sense. And the reason I say that is because this conversation is really just showing me, you're a really good person. You are. Thank you. I think you've had a lot of highs, and it's been incredible. Thank you. But in moments of, self-doubt and, moments, because self-doubt is a natural human state to be at. How do you handle and navigate, those moments in your journey? I barely navigate through them. See, trust me, I feel it. Like I said, I'm a sensitive guy. If it's to cry, I will cry. There's no masculine thing in this shit. If it's to feel sad, depressed, in one corner, dark, and that is where your relationships come in. That's where your family comes in, because they're there for you. Yeah. And that is why you should be there for them. Is there certain people that you know to go to in those moments where
Self-doubt.
I barely even go to them. They come for me. It makes more sense that way because like whenever like when my boys see me in a certain frame, they just come to bug the problem out of my body. And you know, after I say it, all bottled up, after I release that, you know, toxic info in my head, it's easier for me to like blend in back into the light. So they gradually take me out the darkness back into the light.
Would you say that's one of the core reasons as to why relationships are so important to you?
Relationship is the most expensive currency human can ever have. Not even money.
Expand on that.
Your network is your net worth. And I feel like the people around you determine your destiny, not just you. So if you're friends with a wrong one, you're going the wrong path.
Yeah.
Even if you're friends with the right one, you're going the right path. It's that easy.
I love that.
Yeah.
You are doing incredible things right now, you know, from jumping on Usher, which by the way, I will like that video. It's the funniest video, by the way, because why did you jump on that man? I don't know, but...
Usher?
Yes.
Yo, it's Usher. What you mean? Like, I'm a dare on me. I'm 25. Usher has been winning plaques before I started growing beard and, you know...
Yo, I watched that video. I said, what?
It was the adrenaline. No. When I was stepping out, I was like, Allah, you don't mess up. But you know what? I don't care. I don't actually. So I was having this conversation with a team member of mine, Gracie May, and you know she's a big fan of Usher. Yeah. And like a week before the concert, and she was like, "Oh my God, like it'll be an amazing thing to get you and Usher in the same room." Da 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 da. She loves Usher, and you know we were actually having that conversation a week before the buzz came in. Yeah. So I have this big boy, his name is Tunji, and he made everything work out for me to link with Usher. And you know, after I climbed the stage, it just dawned on me. I had a very bad voice at that point because I was battling cold. If you watch that performance properly, I didn't even sing. All I was doing was entertaining everybody. Like I was just dancing, going to every corner of the stage, giving them the Kulosa movement and whatnot. And you know, having to successfully have a great performance, I had to jump on Usher, man. I'm sorry. Because like, I already told my manager to go and tell his team that I cannot climb that stage. My voice is bad. And we had to pray before I stepped on stage. This is real life yams. Yeah. And you know, I was done. I finished performing and I looked back. Usher looked at me like a proud dad. This guy was Okeowo. That's why I gave him that. And then ever since, we've had amazing relationship.
Do you know what? That's what makes you Oxlade. And don't take that away, because the fact that you explain that so genuinely is like.
What do you want me to say?
Because how can you say you said, I'll guide you to somehow?
Like, bro, you put me on, man. Global citizens, come.
Amen. High five. I'm so proud of you. I do have one question to ask you though, because you've got so much success happening right now. How are you processing this? Are you processing all of the stuff that's happening to you?
Processing it, but I want more.
Oh, hello. What does more look like?
More looks like more plaques, more hit records, more success. Yeah. The brand Oxlade gets bigger, fashion-wise, musically, diving into acting, definitely. I'm gonna put the dancing on.
You say diving into acting?
Yeah.
You know what? After the jump, I hear it.
Yeah.
If you can jump like that on Usher, you
can. Oh, that wasn't even acting. That was genuine expression of gratitude. That wasn't even acting. Nah, it wasn't acting.
But it's still expressive though. If you can express like that, you can definitely go into acting.
I think I made a mistake with the choice of course I studied in school, which is History and International Relations.
Oh my God.
I should have done theatre arts.
History was my favorite subject as well.
Yeah, that's why I don't forget people that do me bad and people that do me good. I remember faces.
Listen,
yeah.
You have to keep it up.
And statements, I remember statements for life.
Let's keep this, just because I want your momentum to keep on momentuming. Like we are over here on this show, we are back in Oxlade to the end, right? When we look at Oxlade in 2024, you know, we in 2022 right now. If we're looking at Oxlade in 2024, what are we envisioning? What are we seeing, both on a spiritual level, but also from a career lens?
If I give you this answer, you're not going to tell me to go deeper into it.
No, I won't, I promise. Why do you want me to ask you that?
What you envision Oxlade, or what you expect from Oxlade in 2024 is in God's hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask you.
I don't know what my future holds. He knows. He knew this was going to happen. Yeah. And I'm just going to leave it to him while I'm working so hard to get to where I
I'm
want to get
so
to.
proud of you. I think it's a perfect way to round off the conversation. Give me a hug. This has been the best. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you very much.